Hey, what's going on, everybody? My name is Matt Jarbo. This is $3 Theater, and you know what's funny? Talking about Michael Bay and Transformer movies, because this dude is about ready to release his fifth film in the franchise over the course of 10 years. Yeah, feels crazy to think that it's been 10 years since the first movie dropped, and people actually cared about the Transformers franchise, so it seems. Now, I've always been a fan of the movies, even though I didn't really care for 2, and I didn't really care for 4, but I did very much enjoy the first one, so much so that I even saw the extended version of it in IMAX for that 1 week they were showing it in 2007, and I enjoyed the third one because it went really, really, really fucking dark, and I just happened to like some of the mythos that it was kind of playing with. But the last one was just god awful. The story was bad, the script was terrible, and the writer of it didn't even care. Like, when he was asked about Transformium, his response was basically a shrug and like it's a movie. It's like, oh god, that movie felt to me like they didn't really care about the franchise anymore. Now, even though this franchise is successful and profitable, and it has warranted 5 films, it's not going to end with Transformers: The Last Knight. Even though Michael Bay himself says that he is stepping down from directing the franchise, he wants to give the reins over to somebody else. But we also know that Paramount, and I think Paramount right now is in such dire straits in terms of just the movies they release, that they are in desperate need for this thing to be successful and continue on. Like, they have created a writer's room with a number of talented writers like J. Michael Straczynski to come up with spin-offs. And right now, there are 14 spin-offs currently being discussed in the writer's room and 10 films in active development. Now, there's a Bumblebee movie that's supposed to be coming that's looking at being directed by Travis Knight, who directed Kubo and the Two Strings for Leica, who also owns the company Leica, and whose father owns Nike, a company that, well, just from a personal standpoint, I utterly despise because I live pretty much up the street from them, and due to Nike constantly expanding, my rent's skyrocketing. So I have a bit of a personal beef with that, but the guy's actually a really talented director, and Kubo was a fantastic movie, so ultimately, yeah, I'll see it, but still, fuck Nike. The point is, Michael Bay probably won't ever leave the franchise entirely. You know, he did say he wants to do one of the spin-offs, but keep in mind that he's made multiple threats to quit the Transformers franchise before. In 2007, he got upset when Paramount actually signed a deal to support HD DVD over Blu-ray, and he said, "No Transformers 2 for me." And the next morning, he retracted that statement and agreed to direct the sequel. In 2009, he said, "After 3.5 years I've spent making these movies, I've had enough of the Transformers world." And then he ended up directing the third movie anyway. In 2011, when he was in talks to direct Transformers 4, he immediately denied the claim and ended up directing Age of Extinction anyway, probably because he got a higher payday. And then in 2014, he said he wanted to flex new muscles and pass the baton to another director. But that didn't really pan out because here he is directing The Last Knight. And in 2016, he said that Last Knight would be his last one. I have to pass the reins to somebody else. But he did reiterate that point in February of this year, where he says this time might really be it, but he did say might. So that is leaving it open for a possibility of another Michael Bay directed movie, Transformers movie at least. And here's the thing. Pain and Gain and 13 Hours I thought were good movies. I liked them. I liked the idea of them. I liked that he went back to a smaller, more contained story. And I feel like that's where Michael Bay tends to shine. But these Transformer movies have gotten so big, so crazy, so just over the top that it's hard to take them with any remote sense of seriousness anymore, probably because they take themselves too seriously. You know, you look at Fast and the Furious and people are like, oh, it's the 8th movie of Fast and the Furious, and it just keeps getting crazier and crazier because the movie series knows what it is and it plays into that. Transformers, the first movie felt fun. It was lively, it was entertaining, it was energetic, it was action packed, and I liked it a lot. The second one had issues because of the script of the writer strike that happened. And then, you know, the third one I felt took it a little bit darker, but still not so dark to where it wasn't still entertaining. And then Age of Extinction, just what the fuck, man. John Goodman was probably the best part of that whole movie for me. And this one just, again, just it. I don't quite know how to take these movies anymore. And the thing is, I like them. I'm still gonna see it. My girlfriend wants to see it, even though we're both in the same boat about it. But some might be asking, why is it Michael Bay just won't quit? Why won't he leave? And there's actually a pretty good reason for that. Money, right? Fucking money. If you look at the way that the toy sales work out, keep in mind that the original Transformers show was created to sell toys. Hasbro was like, we have these toys, we need a way to market them, let's make it an animated show, and the rest is fucking history. And so when it came time to make the Transformers movies, when Michael Bay was brought in and spearheaded the project, he was able to work a deal for 8% of the toy sales tied to the movies, which netted him, and I shit you not, $80 million in toy sale profits to Michael Bay from just the first movie in 2007. So yeah, Michael Bay has made a lot of money off of these movies, and he probably is like, screw it, I'll make more. And I have to ask myself, just as a person who not only likes money, but likes movies, if I was ever in a position like that, would I ever just say, screw it, and walk away realizing I've got enough money to do whatever I want? Like, I don't know. I think he feels some sense of ownership over the franchise, which I understand. But given the fact that Paramount needs movies to be successful again because they just haven't been very much, he probably feels like he's got some God complex. And keep in mind, Megan Fox did say after the second movie that working with him was like working with Hitler, even though it was a bit of a facetious shitposty comment. She was kicked off the movie, and I've heard other people talk about Michael Bay as well, and that not so much in that as strict of a regard or hateful of a regard, but definitely like he is controlling, and so this could be a power play to allow him to come back into the franchise anytime he wants, just to kind of swing his big old Michael Bay dick around. Which, again, I could be wrong, but that's about what I feel like I think things are headed to in regards to Michael Bay in this franchise. But I am curious to know what you guys think about this. Do you think that Michael Bay will eventually walk away from the franchise? Do you think there's just too much money to be made here? Do you think he's just like controlling it because he can and no one can stop him? Do you plan on seeing The Last Knight? I'm very curious to know your thoughts about this. Let me know in the comments below. My name is, of course, Matt Jarbo. This has been 3 Buck Theater. If you haven't already, please thumbs up the video. Subscribe if you're new. Share it around. Get your friends in on the conversation. Let's have a good one talking about movies. And I will talk to you guys later. Have yourself a great day, and peace out.